Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to another StarCraft 2 England cast where I am casting Game 3 of this best of 3 between DIMAGA, the red Zerg player in the top position, and RiSK, the yellow Protoss, in the bottom position. Now, being Game 3 of a best of 3, some of you bright sparks may realise that, hey, Madals, I know what this is. This is the deciding game. And RiSK even there being like, your last fight was really nice. That is so good-mannered. That is insane. But anyway, quick rundown if you haven't watched the games. Obviously, if you want to watch them, pause this video, go to my channel, find them, and give them a watch, because they were really good. But basically, Game 1, we saw RiSK go for a pylon in his main, just as he was doing now. He got gateway, warp gate tech, second base, then went 5 gate pressure. And really, DIMAGA couldn't deal with that too well. He lost his third base, then lost his natural. RiSK then thought, hey, I'm miles ahead, I'm going to pull back, and was pretty damn good. Game 2, it was kind of a bit different. DIMAGA, he played an awful lot of spine crawlers. And really defended well. Stayed on 2 base for quite a while, got Infestors out, then took his third base, then managed to just hold off long enough. RiSK took his own third, but DIMAGA just held off, and what was seeming like endless gateway pressure, it was up until like the 14-minute mark, there was constant gateway pressure. But after that point, basically DIMAGA got up Broodlords, and then just won, and there was no way that RiSK could really deal with the Broodlords. He didn't have the right composition for it, and yeah, with the Infestors as well, it was all good. Now, obviously, let's talk a little bit about the map. They're in cross spawns, which means this is a really long map. The rush distance is absolutely massive across here. It's pretty sick. There's also these rocks, so that means the RiSK is going to be able to fully wall off, which I like. I think that's a great position to be in. Meanwhile, spawning pool coming down for DIMAGA at 15, just as we've seen before. He's sending a drone down as well, so it looks like he's actually going to go 15-15. He's getting a much earlier hatchery than we've seen previously. So that's quite nice. There we go. It's going to drop down. There we go. All good. And that's always really awkward for a caster, by the way. Just like, ooh, look there. Oh, that's also just reminded me, guys. I put a blog up on Team Liquid about, because it's actually just coming up to me having been casting for an entire year. And I did a little blog post about it. So do check out my Twitter. There's a link to it in there. Also, just look in the Team Liquid blogs and search for Madals, and you'll find me. And it's cool. It's really good. So do leave some comments on that. Let me know what you think. And it was shocking for me seeing how much, well, I think I've improved in the last year. And that's not just in the microphone quality or the recording software quality or anything like that, but just actually in casting I've got quite a lot better. Still a long way to go, but it's all pretty good. Now, looking here, RiSK, exactly the same build pretty much as Game 1 and 2. Warp gate tech, gateway down, double gas, all looking good. Meanwhile, the only slight difference to Game 1 is he's getting out the Zealot, following it up with a Sentry though. So this is the alteration back to sort of Game 1 as opposed to Game 2, where you of course went for that Stalker Zealot pressure. The Overlord for DIMAGA, able to scout most things. Good little scout coming off here, sees the natural base, that's all good. Meanwhile for DIMAGA, sees nothing there. Hasn't gotten to look in the main though, so of course doesn't know there's the double gas down. That's the important thing to note, because if it's a single gas, 4 gates always going to be a threat to you. But to be honest, I'd be pretty comfortable in DIMAGA's position, thinking I know what he's going to do. He's going to go to that expansion. He's going to go for the 1 gate quick warp gate tech, then expand and be happy. Now, obviously this probe coming to sit down here. What are you doing, little probe? Little probe, are you going to build a pylon? I think you are, but that's all good. We like proxy pylons. Now, second queen just coming up here for DIMAGA. This is all good timings. No gas yet to be expected. Won't take his third base for a while. It's an awkward third base to take because of the rocks there and the defend position, but that's all fine. Meanwhile, RiSK, he's got sentry numbers slowly creeping higher. Still got that double gas coming out, still producing sentries. Warp gate tech half done. His natural on its way down. Meanwhile, the Zealot poking and prodding around the watchtowers, trying to get a bit of map dominance, but one Zealot v1 Zergling. Always a bit awkward. This is kind of signature DIMAGA in this match, in this series so far. Getting the extra queen out to spread creep, it really does help. I love spreading creep. I think it's so important for every Zerg player. But enough about that. Meanwhile, the Forge coming down. We should see a photon cannon when that completes. Maybe a full wall off. Just really to be quite defensive. Now, this probe, of course, still just sitting down here. Hasn't been scouted, not gonna get scouted. And that basically will allow the lovely, lovely Mr. RiSK to get down that proxy pylon, and as a result we'll be able to very, very comfortably put on some pressure. Now, looking here, warp gate tech nearly finished up. That's why we've not seen anything produced here. A robotics facility coming down. Ooh, this is quite a big alteration. We haven't seen an early robo. It's always been early warp gate pressure out of RiSK so far, so it'll be interesting to see whether DIMAGA is going to be prepared to deal with this. He's still spreading the creep forward, which is good. He is still trying to hold this watchtower, but the Zealot is really doing a lot of effort to deny that. +1 coming out, and of course the threat you've always got to think about here is, hey, are we going to see an Immortal Sentry all in, which is a big possibility. Other options, because of some dead space around here, a Sentry drop is possible in order to get that down, so we won't see if that comes down. The third and fourth gas coming down here as well. More warp gates, well, 2 warp gates out. The robotics facility nearly complete. Speed on its way, we've got a lair on its way. Worker count 36 to 45. DIMAGA will start pulling ahead. He also needs to take this base pretty damn quick because, well, the natural is up and running now for RiSK. It is known about to DIMAGA, and if he doesn't take this fairly soon, he could run into some problems because basically he just needs to be able to deal with that. But a lot of spine crawlers coming down. So DIMAGA really predicting a similar build to what we saw before, and it's gonna be some kind of drop play. So really, this was one of the things I predicted would happen. Obviously, the Zealot trying to get a good look. Sees the +1 being researched. Spire coming down. Wow, that is a 2-base Spire play from DIMAGA. This is an interesting choice, and he's getting a lot more, an awful lot more spine crawlers right now. So he's just defending his front, but the downside is we're going to get a drop. So all of this investment in spine crawlers is pretty much useless. We could see the main really ransack. The Spire should be okay, though. Now, in terms of gateways, we've got, well, the Robotics Bay coming up after this, and the Twilight Council, so really heavy teching out of RiSK right now, and as a result, this drop is going to have to do some good damage. Where even is the Warp Prism? It's coming over, but interestingly, hasn't picked anything up. We've got a handful of Zerglings, which could come and try and poke through, but a good number of sentries there. They're going to be able to deal with those Zerglings fairly easily with the Force Swords as well, but what is really surprising is just the lack of anything in this Warp Prism. It's just going to go and warp in down the back, I'd imagine. There's no vision up here. There's no Overlords. The Creep Tumor did spot it, I believe. So we should see a reaction. If not, the drone is definitely going to spot that. There we go. So that's given away what's going on here. We've got some of these spine crawlers uprooting. They're going to move back, just trying to get in a good position. The Queen's obviously there. They are doing good damage to that Warp Prism. It's going to have to way tail out of there. Spine crawlers moving up, making sure that it's defense and the drops everywhere. And DIMAGA really is going to be shutting this down hard. The Mutalisks already on their way out, and I don't think they were scouted. Nope, no scout of the Spire at all. So to be honest, DIMAGA looking to be in a great position right now because there is no Stalkers on the field at all. It was a quick tech up into Colossi. We do have Blink coming down now, but with only the 2 gateways, that is going to take a long time to get those Stalkers out. There is no photon cannons down, and really these Mutalisks are going to be potentially devastating to RiSK. Obviously, DIMAGA is getting up his 3rd base behind this. His creep spread is still looking nice. These mutas are not going to get scouted pretty much until they hit the base, at which point they are going to hurt so much. Where are they going? They're going to actually go and pick off the Warp Prism. That's quite a surprising choice, because by picking off this Warp Prism, which there isn't a huge need for in my opinion, because you do have the defense there already, you're giving away that you've got these mutas, and now we should see photon cannons chucked down in each mineral line. I really predict that coming down soon. Obviously we'll start seeing the Stalkers warp in, a lot more gateways being added on. Boy, that is going to be an additional 5 gates, taking us up to a 7 total. Here comes the photon cannons. Meanwhile, where are those mutas? Well, they're just cleaning up pylons at the moment. A 2nd Spire already on its way down now for DIMAGA, so he's going for the double upgrades. And obviously getting his evolution chamber. I don't think there's an infestation pit yet, so no early hive timing or anything like that. The 3rd base coming, I need to start thinking about that soon. And is taking a hidden expansion up the top there. That DIMAGA really focusing on getting the good economy. He's not got many workers out at the moment, actually equal worker count to RiSK for the time being, and that's because his 3rd base only just really kicking in now. So many pylons getting taken out, lost count, RiSK losing an awful lot more than DIMAGA at the moment, and this is obviously allowing DIMAGA to get into the late game where he really is going to be quite comfortable. The Stalker count isn't climbing any higher. Yep, up to 9. Obviously Guardian Shield helps a lot against Mutalisks. And I'm quite surprised that a pylon was taken out there when there's destructible rocks. That is particularly interesting in terms of, I don't quite know why. It's just because that's a bigger area to try and wall off. I'm building the pylon behind it as well, just like, I'm going to let my units out and then re-wall off, which is a bit peculiar, but it's all fine. We know and love that. Meanwhile, Stalkers are out blink, of course, done, so they can just blink down out of there. And well, taking a look around, good cannons, well, 3 cannons in the main, 1 in the natural, but it doesn't really matter because the only way into the natural is from this way. Obviously, this Artosis pylon, though, woo, if that goes down, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh hysterically for a long period of time. The rock's getting taken down by the mutas. An efficient use of Mutalisks there. The +1 flyer attack, +1 flyer carapace already finished. Meanwhile, though, the push coming up, spine crawlers pretty much everywhere. And of course, upgrade-wise, it's 2-0 compared to 0-1 air and 0-0 for the ground. Of course, we do have +1 melee attack on its way. Spine crawlers pretty much everywhere, and DIMAGA looks like he's just going to loop around. Is he going to go for the engagement, or is he instead just going to go straight for the base? Well, for the time being, it looks like he is just going to go and pick off the reinforcements. The Mutalisks are doing some good damage, some blinks coming down. The Stalkers do need to be careful. There's a good number of Mutas on the field, already up at 25. Of course, there's not that many Stalkers at only 22. The Zerglings are getting cleaned up nicely by the Colossi though, so DIMAGA needs to be careful. He's buying himself some more time, getting some more Mutalisks out, and essentially just waiting for those upgrades to finish. +1 flower attack nearly done. That's going to really help him against these Stalkers. In terms of aggression, very little out of DIMAGA so far, and really you get those Mutas out a lot sooner to be aggressive, to be really aggressive, harassing, going in from behind. This could be a bit of a bold move. He needs to be careful. He's picking off more reinforcements, preventing RiSK from really being able to commit to this push, using the Mutas over the high ground very effectively, preventing the Stalkers from being able to get underneath them, which will allow him to get off a couple of free hits, and now he's going to go and apply more pressure, and RiSK has to come back to defend this. This is buying DIMAGA yet more time. He's got so many Mutas right now that, to be honest, he's in a good position. There is a lot of photon cannons down here though, but with so many Mutas, they can almost pretty much one-shot cannons right now, but a lot of Mutas getting very low on health, a couple going down, not really enough damage done there in my opinion to warrant it. Only 6 probes killed. If we look at the worker count, 50 to 58, so DIMAGA has been pretty low on workers this entire game, and that is going to hurt him going into the more later stages, and RiSK of course with a good army. In a head-on engagement, this army will beat DIMAGA's, even though these Mutas do have 1-1, and of course going for those Stalkers as best he can, and I'm supposed to not trying to pick off some tech, force the Stalkers out further, but as you can see here, great vision being given by the creep spread, and of course that's why I love creep spread. It gives you great map awareness, and it is effective. It's being spread all over, it's joining up all of his bases, everything's nice. The Guardian Shield down, trying to help deal with these Mutas better. How many Mutas are even on the field now? 37 Mutas to be 34 Stalkers, so they do need to be careful. They don't want to head-on engagement. The Colossi count up at 3, of course that means these Zerglings are not going to be too good, but here we go. We've got a big engagement coming in, and it looks like the Colossi getting focused down by the Mutas. One gets taken off. In terms of the loss tab, DIMAGA losing about 1,000 more resources than that of his opponent. The reinforcements streaming in, getting picked off though very effectively. Upgrade wise, we don't have any more upgrades coming out from the double spire, which usually if you go double spire you want to be getting more upgrades. Of course, DIMAGA is spending a lot of his gas on the Mutas themselves. He's going to pick off all of those Colossi now, and is now just going straight on for all of this. And this head-on engagement is actually looking like it is favouring RiSK. He's just got so many Stalkers there, but the Zerglings of course reinforcing into this. That's going to help, and DIMAGA possibly just engaged a bit too long there. Should have waited for the reinforcements. He lost an awful lot of stuff there, and I think as a result of that, being down to 11 Mutas with that head-on engagement, that I think RiSK should be able to take this now. He's picking off the Overlords very effectively. These Stalkers are of course 2-0. There's more Zerglings in production, but it just doesn't look like there's going to be enough. The natural base goes down, and I think DIMAGA is unfortunately going to have to GG out of this. He'd have to have an incredible engagement. I think the mistake, if you can call it that, was DIMAGA. He picked off the Colossi very effectively with the Mutas, but then went for a head-on engagement that he just wasn't able to win, and as a result, the Zergling reinforcements I don't think will be enough, and RiSK, as long as he plays this relatively safely now, should be in a great spot. A couple of Mutas not rallied up and not control group means that they will die exceptionally quickly right now, and as you can see here, Stalkers, they're pushing forward, they're doing damage, they're going to take out this third base as well. Once you start losing your natural and your third, you run into huge problems. Of course, blink off cooldown, so going to be able to blink up. If the spires get taken down, that would be quite a big loss. The evolution chamber is going down, the third base gone down already, and of course reinforcements are getting taken out. This is good play on its own. The +1 melee attack is done, but of course +2 ground weapons for Protoss is fairly strong, revealing I think up here that there is a base up here. Did see the drones transfer, so if he wants to go and take off that base, he can, but it looks like much more comfortable just actually going to go and attack the main. And as you can see, 33 workers killed, the worker count 28 to 50, and that really is pretty much it. There's too much of a force here, there is not enough army. The Colossus now in here as well, that is definitely going to be the GG. DIMAGA going to fight it out to the end though. He is at half the supply of his opponent, and it was a really nice game actually. DIMAGA really used those Mutalisks quite effectively. Could have done more in my opinion with some harassment, but the photon cannons, just a great play. And well, RiSK, he's taking out the lair, he's taking out the spawning pool. Once that's gone down, I really think DIMAGA will GG. He's not going to be able to do too much more. About to lose so many Overlords as well. The Colossus slightly exposed, and well, supply block DIMAGA hugely, and that it really is it. It's one mining base compared to, well, 2 mining bases, well, 1 and a tiny bit. Mass photon cannons coming down, just in order to deal with any push that might come through. Obviously, good defense going on here. Meanwhile, all of RiSK's army can pretty much come and take out this base, which I'm sure we must know is there. But DIMAGA gonna hold on until he's lost everything. The Mutas coming in, they are able to do good damage here, but of course the Stalkers on their way back. DIMAGA trying to pick off as much as he can. The Zerglings getting cleaned up quite effectively. The photon cannons doing good damage. More Mutas are on the way in, up to 17. but, well, to be honest, RiSK, he's getting in here with the Stalkers. The blink forward will probably go down any second now. There we go. A couple more mutas are going to fall, and now that's back. There's the good game, and good luck from DIMAGA, ever being good-mannered. So, that was it. 2-1 to RiSK, who had some really nice play there. I really enjoyed that game. Anyway, if you did enjoy the game, please like the video, subscribe, leave a cool comment, or let me know what you think of my casting or anything you'd like to see. And yeah, follow me on Twitter, which is of course @MadalsSC2. Send me a tweet. And yeah, most importantly, I'll catch you tomorrow for yet another new game. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.